Did you even know what this business model was?
No, I never even heard of rank and rent. I'd heard that people, there's SEO. I knew kind of what SEO was. I knew you can get ranked and stuff, but I knew that took like a really long time. So I kind of like always, I'm kind of impatient sometimes. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
money loves speed. I live up to that because I'm so impatient. So I kind of came across you. I think it was on TikTok or Instagram, one of the two. Which I don't know how many qualified people you get from there, but
You don't be surprised a lot. Like we get a lot of people. We make, as you remember, we made you watch quite a few videos. Like we don't just jump on with anyone that's like raising their hand, but yeah, we get a lot. So you see the video, you're like, dude, this guy's an absolute tool. Let me check it out though. Business model sounds cool.
Yeah, no, so what I found your video, I think it was a TikTok, something like that. And then it pushed me. I think I watched a video of you in the big old sombrero or something like that. I was like, man, this guy's got some energy. He's drinking Monster energy drinks and stuff. I was like, I vibe with it. And what you were saying too, like, I mean, I've tried a lot of things on, I'm sure there's a lot of people, that watch you have tried a lot of things on the internet to make money. I'm always looking for something. I'm always reading books, Alex Remote, all the whole stuff, you know what I mean? So once I heard about your business model and stuff and kind of how it worked and how you can get a website up there quick for cheap and then kind of, like you said, pre-sell it or whatever before, it just made sense to me. And I was like, oh man, I got to learn this and stuff. And that's kind of how I fell into it.
So and I know yesterday when we did the interview, there was kind of a similar deal. The person that we interviewed, they'd never heard of rank and rent. And then like within 2 days, they were on a call with me like, hey, it was Andrew and he had never heard of it. He's a software engineer and stuff. But it just again, for those of you that are in this group that are watching this, maybe you're on YouTube when this goes on there, whatever. There's going to be people that have known about this business model for years and months and years. Some of you probably a decade and still haven't made money yet. Mark sees a freaking, probably some ridiculous TikTok video that he's like rolling his eyes, looks into it. He's like, that makes sense. The message makes sense. The messenger, but the message makes sense. Let me check this thing out. And dude, you go in and by the way, guys, I have to be straight up with you. He actually got a deal and he was very honest with me. It was 1 month and 1 day. I just didn't want to type that out on the title here, but from the day that you joined and started working with me till the day you got your first deal was 1 month and 1 day, which is incredible, dude.
Yeah, it was good.
I was going to say, did you think it was going to happen that quick? I know when you're on the call, like I was like, dude, we can get like, that's the goal is to get a deal. But like, did you actually think that? Or were you like, yeah, that's cool, but I don't know.
That was my goal. So my goal was to get my first deal in 1 month. And when we talked and everything, I mean, you always have everybody kind of scope out their goals and what they want and like really break it down. And, and the first part of my goal was to get the first deal in 1 month and then, expand on that to get to 10K a month. I want to be part of that 10K club,
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was my main goal to start. And I at the beginning, I rushed it a little bit, like with the kind of due diligence and stuff like that. And I just got a site up there. Boom. I just wanted to get quick. And then I really stopped and I thought about it. And I was like, hey, this guy knows what he's talking about. I bought some programs, not in this before, but I bought programs. So I know how it works. And I was like, hey, I'm going to follow this to the T. And in the videos and stuff, you said like, hey, don't move on to the next section until you complete this one. And I literally did that. I did not look at the Zoom call close video until the day before my Zoom close.
I love that. The thing is, and I remember, like, I can't remember who told me this, but I think so. One of my neighbors, he was like a big Amazon guy, right? I don't know what he was netting because that's a totally different business model, but he got me in on some program, whatever. And I just remember he told me the advice. He said, I know you're going to think you're smarter than this guy because everybody does. But just if he asks you to do something, then do it. If he says this is a good product, and this guy was making a lot of money, well, allegedly, I guess I never saw his bank account, but I think he was, right? We never know these days with social media and renting Lambos and stuff. But anyway, the point is, for some reason that stuck with me. And so when I did my first thing, I thought the same thing. I said, well, either I got scammed and this guy has no idea what he's talking about, or he does. And if I just follow it, that's going to work. And lo and behold, I followed to T, boom, landed a deal. And then I just got too smart, too cool, and started chasing some other stuff. And anyway, long story. But dude, I think the cool part is you just did it. Like, I know that that sounds repetitive because I always say that, but like, there's people that have this exact same formula, exact same roadmap that it's like 6 months later and still haven't gotten a deal. And it's like, you just did it. So I guess I want to dive right in and say to people that have been trying to do this. Yesterday, the guy I asked, hey, somebody that's brand new, what would you say? What would you tell them? But somebody that's been trying to do this and just struggling through it, what's the advice you'd give them? Because you figured it out quick, and other people, they just, whatever, they're getting distracted. They think they're too smart. I love what you said too, because it's funny. I literally give you the exact map, yet people do the different niches. They don't follow the criteria. They let their CPC be too high, all these things. And I'm like, guys, I'm giving you the ad copy, just copy and paste it. I'm doing it but yet people are like, whatever. So what advice would you give somebody that's been doing this a while, dude?
I would definitely say follow it to a T. So I did everything. You said, hey, do concrete. I did concrete. You know what I mean? You said like everything, like pay per click, everything. I followed to the exact T. So like that'd be the main thing, first of all. And second of all is just, and I kind of equate this to everything that I do, is consistency. So like you kind of every morning, I write out 5 things that I'm going to do that day, and I do them that day. And it doesn't have to be 5 things that are these outlandish things. I'm going to land a deal today, but it's like, hey, I'm going to call a business owner today. I'm going to launch it. I'm going to put up a website today. I'm going to do these little things that take 30 minutes. I just do that every single day. So in the mornings when I said, hey, I'm going to call 3 business owners today, I'd call 3 business, and I just consistently do that every single month. And it comes down to like breaking down, like what we talked about, hey, I had this, 10-month goal that I broke into, 1-month goals, and I broke that 1-month thing down to what I need to do day by day. And then it's just following the map, and then also watching the videos and following the map when it comes to that as well. So
I love it. And tell everyone. So like everyone always asks, like, is this what you're doing full time? Do you have a full-time job? Like, tell everyone your current situation and where you're living. I know, but tell everyone.
Yeah, so I have a full-time job. I work from home, thank God, like remote. So that's, obviously I have an advantage when it comes to that. So I'm able to take calls. I'm able to, kind of do stuff in between or whatnot. So I'm a project manager for a tech company. I live in Nashville right now.
As of a month ago, dude. You were, in fact, the day we talked, you had gone and put an offer on the house.
Yeah. So actually, no. So we're still at the apartment. We're closing right now still because they're building a house. So I'm waiting on it or whatever.
So you're not there yet.
No, not there yet. Not the house yet.
Okay. I guess I wasn't even aware that you were in Nashville yet. I thought the fact that you were in Nashville, were you in Nashville when he talked? I guess I was confused.
I think we got there like a week before because we rented an apartment. So I think we did.
You moved from California?
Yeah, from California.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
How do you like Nashville, dude?
Dude, I love Nashville. It's so awesome. It's so much better in California.
You got the mustache. Next thing you're going to be hopping on. We're going to see like a gun on your shirt. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I can go grab the cowboy hat I just bought the other day if you want.
I love it, dude. I love it, man. Dude, I've been to Nashville a handful of times. I haven't done the Nashville, what you would expect, like the music and everything, but I've just been there for business, and it's just a cool city, dude.
Yeah, super cool. Good energy.
Yeah. And it's actually becoming quite like a little entrepreneurial hub. Like there's actually quite a bit of movement going on with just different meetups and companies, and like it's a cool spot. I think it's going to continue to grow. Like,
oh yeah, that's one of the reasons like I came here. I wanted to come to something where I could still get something value for my money and still be involved in the growth. And you could tell, I mean, there's cranes everywhere. You could tell like this place is up and coming. It's on its way up. So
you can feel energy when there's energy, and then you can also tell when it's fake energy. And so like one of the things that you just said, like when you watch the videos, you can just feel that energy. Mm-hmm. It's like you can't fake that. And so one of the reasons I want to, and I love to get people as soon as they get deals or they're second, third, whatever, and get them on, is because you can't fake it, but I want people to feel it. Right. And you can't fake the excitement that you have. And dude, like, let's talk about that. How good did it feel to put that first deal down, dude?
Oh, dude, it felt so good. Literally,
what did you do? I asked Andrew yesterday. I'm like, are you a silent fist bumper? Are you a screamer? I asked Shane, the carpet cleaning guy that last week, and he's like, dude, I'm not like this, but he's like, I freaking shed a tear, man. I was so pumped. What did you do when you got your first deal?
Well, dude, it's kind of like a little bit of a blue ball situation because I went through his like, I mean, he had some objections, you know what I mean? And luckily, so I mean, I probably was on the call with him for like 45 minutes and stuff. And I used exactly the stuff that you teach kind of to get past, like, you know, get more out of them when it comes to their rejections, you know what I mean? Really get down to the brass tacks. And finally, you know, I mean, just, hey, what do you know, just kind of went into it with him and finally goes, hey, man, look, I'll just tell you what it is. Okay. I was like, all right, let's hear it. I was like, because I kind of went into what you said. I was like, hey, I got a chip on my shoulder. Like my dad and mom used to fight about money and stuff. Like, that's why I want to be successful. Like, what about you, kind of thing.
I love it.
And he goes, and anyways, when it finally got down to it, he said, hey, look, I'm going through a divorce right now. You know what I mean? Like, I just got a lot of stuff going on in my mind. You know what I mean? It's just one other thing. I was like, woo, like, man, that's a pretty good one. Like, I get it, man. Like, so he's like, but I want to take some time. Like I said, and I kind of told him that I had another call the next day. And I told him that it was at 9 o'clock the next morning. So I was like, hey, I got to give the guy at least an hour or two. So let me know by 7:30 in the morning. Yes or no. Like, I get it. You got to take a night to sleep on it. So, you know, let me know. And so he called me the next morning and, you know, he just kind of, all right, let's do it. You know, and oh my God, the feeling, I just like ran, I had to go out in the stairwell too, because like apartment complex, my lady was still sleeping. So I'm like out in the stairwell talking to this guy on the phone and everything. I just come busted through it. Woo, let's go.
You're like, I'm gonna wake her up now because we got money coming in, baby. No, so a couple things in that is number one, I always have to like, guys, I'm telling you right now, if I was a drug guy, I would just own it and say, I've never touched drugs, but every person I know that has done drugs and is doing sales, there is nothing comparable to getting a sale, especially your first one. It's like, you're going to get it. You're going to feel it, enjoy it, because you're going to chase that for the rest of your entire career. And you're never going to get it. You're going to need more, bigger deals, more money, just like a drug thing. But you know what the best part about it is? It's just helping you to put more money in your bank account. So it's a healthy addiction, I guess. So that's number one. Number two is you did something really strategic that I like to train on and talk about, which is, you know, number one, the best way to overcome objections is to eliminate them, right? Which is bringing them up first, whatever. But here's what's cool. You probably, I mean, it was your first deal. You probably skipped a couple things and okay, cool. So then you went into it. The next step, okay, I skipped that thing. And okay, now we got to overcome it. You tried to overcome it. You did all that you could with what you knew. And then you just can tell there's that point where you're like, I'm just not going to get it, right? Like, it's just not going to happen. And I push. I'm not a douche. I'm not a dick, but I push. And I'm like, hey, if you're just telling me no, just tell me no right now. Don't push me till tomorrow. Anyway, but then there's those times you can just tell, like, I don't know. It's more of a feel. It's hard to like put on paper, but you did a smart thing and you go and you tee something up for the next day so that it creates that, you know, urgency so that you, and so what I'm saying is anyone that's listening to this now, later, or in a year or 2 years, you always have to have a reason for urgency and you have to build that in. And you don't just say, okay, cool, let's go think about it. Call me. You say, okay, I'm going to meet you in the middle. I'd never do this, but I'll give you 2 hours to call me back, or call me by this time and I'm down to do the deal. If not, I'm going to somebody else because I can't wait. And it's a business move. And I know you understand that. And if that person legitimately is sold, they just actually need that time, you're going to get them. And if not, it's going to be that perfect opportunity for them to just like, hey, yeah, I'm good. Like, it's almost going to give them an easy out, and then you're not going to waste your time.
Yeah.
So textbook, dude, freaking textbook that you did that. I mean, I do that very rarely, but I've closed a lot of deals doing that just when I can tell there's a situation, but it's rare. Was it easier or harder, that first deal that you got? Did you think it was going to take you 5 business owners? Did you think it was going to take you long? Like, what were your thoughts on that? You're like, that's easier than I thought, harder, the same?
Well, I mean, I guess that was my first Zoom close kind of ever. Like, so my first like real close. So that one, like, I don't know, I guess I went into it pretty confident just because like the guy had already landed one deal. So he did, you know, basically could pay for the first month pretty much, no matter what that deal was, $2,000 deal. And he had 2 estimates still that he needed to go do. So he you know, I mean, I had some pretty good traction with him. So I felt pretty confident. One of the things, like you kind of mentioned urgency and things. What I did from the very beginning is I told him that I had a business partner that was working in giving leads to another company, and that, he said he's kind of working that customer, and, he has the meeting. So I kind of always, hey, I'll talk to him. He has the meeting. I'll see if we can push it back so we can get you in there. Like, I kind of always worked it from that angle to kind of have some urgency with him. So kind of, I always felt like it helped him respond quicker to me, because that's the main thing that I had not a lot of success with at first, is getting business owners to call me back, getting business owners to pick up the calls for leads. Like, it was crazy. I thought for sure, like, hey, I'm giving you free work. Like, if it was me and a business owner, I'd be like taking that free work any chance I could get. And just, that was the thing. So it took me probably, I think that he was the 7th business owner on my list. He's only actually been in business for 1 full year and stuff. So, he wasn't like the optimal perfect target on my list. So when in that regard, it definitely, like, I was like, man, this is going to be hard. This might be harder than I thought originally. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then when I got to him, he was responsive. Every time I sent him something, I was like, oh, okay, this one feels good. This, like, it might be something.
That's a good point. And I frequently say this to people that, like, I think I probably said this to you when we talked about joining Digital Landlords, is, dude, it's not as much about trying to convince somebody as it is finding the right person.
Mhm.
Because just like you just said, when you find the right person, dude, it's like, oh, finally, this, like, I remember when we talked and you're like, I remember you telling me, like, I watched a TikTok and I'm like, dude, this is exactly the kind of person. And you told me your goals and what you want to do. And I'm like, it is about finding the right business owner. And then the sale becomes easy. I think sometimes we think we're going to sell everybody, or we're so stubborn. I'm going to sell the first guy on my list, or the first girl on my list. Like, no, just find, you only need to find one per city. Right. Mm-hmm. And so I think it's a really good point. And he responded favorably. Was he paying for ads, any of that? Or did you find him on Craigslist? Where did you find him?
I found him Home Advisor. So he's doing a Home Advisor. I could not find anybody doing Google ads in this specific town that I was doing. And so I just went down the Angie's list, went down the thing. I think I even, like, cause I had like 4 more on my list after him. I think I was even going down to Facebook too, if I needed to.
Yeah. And sometimes, and for those that are listening that don't know what we're talking about, we only target people that are already paying for ads, paying for leads, because why in 2022 would you go to a business owner who's not already sold on, hey, I can put money into this machine and I can get money out? I'm not interested in trying to sell people on why marketing works. I only want to talk with people who are already sold on it. Similar to people that come to my program. I'm not going to DM people in the free group or on YouTube and be like, hey, you should join my program. I'm only interested in talking to people who know that, hey, I got to fix my situation. I have a great job. It's been great, but, like, I'm looking at this long term and it's not going to do it. If I want to do these other things and buy real estate, it ain't going to cut it. Those are the people, they're already sold on creating passive income. Now I can just show them, hey, this program checks all the boxes that these ones don't. Same exact thing. And that leads me into, like, my last 1 or 2 questions, which is, what do you want to do long term? You have a great job. You have, like, the American dream. You freaking got a gorgeous mustache, bro. I mean, geez, dude, look at that thing. Just right on there. It looks painted, dude. That's so clean. You better never cut that thing. It needs to go all the way through November.
It's going to go. It's years.
Okay. So anyway, you kind of, like, have the American dream right now from what it looks like, right? Like, and dude, if you end up getting the house that you showed me, it is like the American dream house, right? So what else did you want? What made you decide, like, hey, I need to go start making some passive income?
Man, for me, it's buying. I think you talk about it all the time. And it kind of, as the more books you read, and I guess the older you get a little bit, you kind of realize that the most valuable thing is your time. And I want to be able to, I guess, work. Even though that, this takes work, everything takes work, but it's kind of like, if you're going to have to work, you might as well work doing something that you choose to be doing. You know what I mean? Because no one's going to sit around playing Xbox. Maybe some people do, but I can't do that. You're not going to just sit around and
the Twitch stream. There's Twitch streamers that are like, no, I make millions, but
exactly. And I'm stupid to them. So, what I mean?
No, I know what you're saying.
Yeah. So for me, like, I want to create something where, I'm on my own schedule. If I want to take off for a couple weeks, and still get paid while I sleep, then I can, I've done a lot of different things. Like, I had, like, a little media agency for things, like actually creating TikToks and Instagrams and stuff, because I used to be a video editor, and I got a couple editors under me. But and I thought that was the business model. I thought I was going to scale that thing. I thought it was going to be really good. And Then I came across this and I was like, man, this is so scalable. Like literally, and it just like kind of all clicked for me that, you know, once you launch one and you build it out and everything, then it's just kind of a little bit maintenance. Nothing's fully passive or anything like that. But as far as like, I mean, it just, if you kind of understand, you read Rich Dad Poor Dad, and you kind of understand how, you know, renting things for money and like how that whole all works. And then when it comes to this, like, wow, I could put $100 into ads and get $1,000 worth of reoccurring income instead of saving up $20,000 to buy a rental house to get the same amount of reoccurring income. And once that made sense to me, I was like, okay, this is, I need to try this.
Dude, I gotta ask one more question. I keep saying one more question, but so what was your favorite part for people maybe that are like, I don't know, they just heard about this. What's your favorite element of this business model that like spoke to you the most? Was it the scalability? Was it the assets? Was it the margins, the low barrier to entry? Like, what was the number one thing that stood out to you? I know it's a combination. It's hard to even say that because it's all of them together. But like, was there one more than like, I like for me, for example, it was the fact that there was assets. You know, I'm not putting my time and energy into something that I'm not going to get paid for tomorrow because I was so tired of, you know, doing the same thing over and over, knocking the doors, getting the check, and then having to just, you know, go back the next year and do the same thing.
Yeah. So for me, it was the ROI, honestly, like, cause I do, that's kind of how I think I do a lot of like trading and things like that. So I always think in terms of ROI. And then, like I said, the fact that you could, I mean, to get this deal, I think I ran to this specific website. I think I ran $103 worth of ads and I got $1,000 of reoccurring revenue. And then also like I'm running ads for my buddy's, what does he do? Cabinet building business. And I just landed him a $7,000 job of 102. That one was $122 in ads. And he just got a $7,000 job. So it's when I kind of like thought about that and how easy it was to do and how that became so scalable and how I could just reoccur and keep doing that and keep doing that and keep doing that. And not even at a fast pace, not like I have to do this all tomorrow or anything, right. But like if I just get a deal, like say I was able to just do a deal a month or something, I mean, I could replace my income in a year and then double it in 2 and just, I don't know, that for me, ROI.
I love it, bro. Yeah. I want to keep this tight. I want to keep this short. I think we keep them just nuggets on nuggets on nuggets. Appreciate you being on, dude. Where are you going to be by the end of the year? What's your goal? Just give us the number.
10K by the end of so I have by the end of 2023, 10K in reoccurring. And that's, you know, it's not a huge goal or anything like that, but it's something that is attainable. And I think I could do it and I'm on track. And one thing that I did want to say in all this, cause it I feel like a lot of people get hung up on talking on the phone. And for me, dude, that first phone call, like I stared at that phone for a while and like my heart was beating and everything. But I'm telling you, if you just do 20 of them, you do 20 of those calls, just, hey, say today I'm going to make 20 calls to business owners and just make yourself look like a dummy, like literally just look stupid. And then it's over. And then you don't feel bad. You'll answer any phone call, talk to anybody. So that's like one thing I kind of wanted to sprinkle in here somehow.
Please. That's a great piece of advice. It's not as scary as you think. Rip the Band-Aid off. And just go, dude. I love it. Awesome, Mark. You the man. Appreciate you being on, dude. And I'm going to be calling you later. Thanks, guys.
Right on, buddy. See you later.